You wake face down on midtown asphalt that tastes of diesel and ozone. Your ears ring with a single impossible word. Judge me by my size, do you? The voice is ancient, kind, and crawling inside your skull like warm oil. You roll over. Traffic is frozen, not stopped, frozen. Sedans hang mid-bounce. Hot dog carts hover an inch off the ground, and a yellow cab's front bumper is kissing your nose without crushing it. Time itself has taken a knee. 30 yards away, a 2-foot-high shadow in a brown robe stands on a lamppost as calmly as if it were a garden stepping stone. Its green hand is lifted, palm flat, holding back a 3-story sentinel bot that was about to vaporize you for mutant trespass. Sparks dribble from the robot's palm cannon like drool from a sleeping titan. The little creature flicks 2 fingers. The sentinel folds into a ball of scrap the size of a volleyball and gently rolls to the curb, still humming but suddenly harmless. No one breathes. Even the graffiti stops dripping. You try to stand. Your legs refuse. The creature hops down, lands without sound, and tilts its head. Wrinkles pile on wrinkles, but the eyes are newborn stars. Afraid you are, it says, and the sentence wraps around your panic like a blanket sewn from thunderstorms. Somewhere inside your chest you feel every lie you've ever told rearrange themselves into a single truth. I am about to witness the end of the world I know. Sirens start up again, time exhales, yet the air still feels stretched, as if reality itself is tiptoeing around this visitor. A stark billboard across the street flickers, its slogan stuttering into Arabic before dying entirely. The green being sighs, leans on a walking stick that is definitely also a lightsaber, and whispers, "Lost I am. Help me, you will." The city answers with gunmetal thunder. NYPD choppers sweep in, news drones swarm like hornets, and somewhere on a rooftop you hear the unmistakable thwip of web fluid. The Marvel Universe just realized it has a new guest, and its immune system is kicking in. If your heart is already hammering, smash the subscribe button before it cracks your ribs. We traffic in impossible crossovers here. Jedi mind tricks versus vibranium shields, Sith lords trading punches with cosmic abstracts. So if you want front row seats to the multiverse's most lopsided chess match, join the battalion. Tap like so the algorithm knows you're thirsty for more than recycled trailer breakdowns. Comment below with the first Marvel hero you'd send to negotiate with this intruder, because the comment section is about bullets slide out of chambers and line up in the air like metallic prayer beads. The city holds its breath again, waiting to learn whether this is salvation or sentencing. From the alley comes a red and blue blur. Spider-Man lands in a crouch, hands raised, lens eyes dilating. Okay, he mutters. Tiny green Gandhi just turned NYPD ordnance into origami, which is either the coolest Avenger audition ever or the start of a very specific brand of nightmare. His spider sense is screaming, but not in danger tongue. It's awe, raw, and nauseous. The wallcrawler's instinct can't decide if the thing in front of him is prey, predator, or punctuation mark. Yoda turns, smiles, and speaks in a language that sounds like Sanskrit sung underwater. Peter understands every word. Alone, I seek no fight, but defend myself, I can. The Force coils around Spidey like warm silk, showing him futures. Himself old, teaching tiny Padawans on a rooftop garden. Aunt May glowing with kyber crystal light. Tony Stark bowing to a lightsaber instead of a bottle. The vision lasts half a second, leaves sweat on his mask. Then the Hulk arrives. Because of course he does. A green mushroom cloud of asphalt erupts as Banner's better half belly flops from 5 blocks away, fists first. The shockwave sends you skidding on your back, yet somehow you remain uncrushed, another invisible cushion. Hulk roars, a sound like planets divorcing, and charges the smaller green thing. Yoda doesn't flinch. He lifts 3 fingers. The jade giant's ankle folds mid-sprint, not breaking, folding, as if bone and sinew suddenly remembered they were origami. Hulk faceplants, slides, and stops 1 inch from the Jedi's slippers. The monster looks up, eyes confused, rage flickering like a bad bulb. Anger, Yoda murmurs. A leash you forged yourself. Free you I shall. He taps Hulk's forehead with his cane. The rage drains out like someone pulled a bathtub plug. Bruce Banner blinks awake, naked except for purple shorts, lying in a crater. Did I miss yoga class? He croaks. The crowd that has materialized because New Yorkers treat potential apocalypse like free Broadway erupts. Half cheer, half pull phones, all vibrate with the same question. Is this the day Earth finally joins a bigger story? Overhead, a Stark satellite pivots, lens flaring. In a Malibu mansion, Tony drops a Scotch glass. In Wakanda, Shuri's kimoyo beads flash crimson. In space, the Guardian's ship computer spits out an error, unknown power signature, class mythic. And somewhere darker, a cloaked figure on a throne of stone smiles so wide his lips bleed. Thanos feels when the doors sigh open, the conference room is already quarreling. Stark's hologram paces mid-air, armor half-assembled, servos twitching like drunk hornets. Steve Rogers stands at the oval table, arms crossed so tight his shield groans on his back. Black Panther lounges in a vibranium throne that sprouted from the floor because Wakanda does not wait for carpentry. Captain Marvel's eyes glow, residual binary energy licking the ceiling. Banner, fully clothed, still trembling from crater-naked humility, clutches a tablet that keeps deleting its own data every time it tries to quantify the Force. They don't notice you at first. You're a ghost intern, collateral witness to the moment Earth's mightiest egos realize the planet now has a green, 2-foot-high deity who can fold their war machine into a paper swan. The holoscreen flickers alive. Times Square, 20 minutes ago. Yoda sits cross-legged on the TKTS red steps, tourists orbiting him like moons. Every language on the planet whispers the same 3 questions through subtitle bars. Is he mutant, god, or marketing stunt? Kids offer churros. He levitates them into birds that scatter as edible doves. A street preacher drops his "the end is nigh" sign, watches the letters rearrange into "the beginning is short." Then the feed zooms, enhance, on a single tear rolling down the Jedi's cheek. It falls, sizzles, and blossoms into a tiny blue flower that keeps blooming until petals peel back to reveal a starfield. The crowd gasps. The starfield is real, micro-constellations swirling above Broadway. Somewhere in the footage you hear yourself breathing because you're still down there, stuck between timelines, simultaneously watching and living. Stark snaps. We need a classification. His voice cracks like adolescent thunder. Mutant Omega? Fae? Techno-magic hybrid? I ran the numbers. Whatever he is, the energy signet. Ur predates cosmic microwave background radiation. That's not power, that's pre-power. Steve's answer is quieter, deadlier. He's a refugee. The word lands like a grenade wrapped in compassion. Banner pushes the suicidal tablet away. He calmed the Hulk with a touch. Calm, Tony, not suppressed. Understood. I felt rage translated into language, then given tenure and a library card. If that's sorcery, I want to enroll. Carol's glow intensifies. And if it's invasion, we've seen cosmic missionaries before. First comes wisdom, then comes conscription. Panther steeples his fingers. Or worse, he stays, and the universe notices. Earth becomes a pilgrimage site for every exile with a lightsaber and a grievance. The table falls silent, imagining galactic spring breakers lining up to audition their chosen one complexes. Friday, the room realizes its heavy hitters are either off-world or off-grid. Earth's bench just became a folding chair. Panther stands. We need eyes on the ground, preferably eyes that blink. Every helmet swivels toward you, the only civilian retina in the room. Congratulations, audience surrogate. Your internship just became a field commission. The elevator drops you back into the city so fast, your stomach arrives 30 seconds late. Times Square is no longer a plaza, it's a temple. People kneel, stand, or hover, Yes, hover, arranged in concentric rings by an unseen will. Yoda hovers at the center, eyes closed, meditating so hard gravity files for unemployment. Above him, the star tier keeps expanding, now a living planetarium. You see Coruscant traffic lanes, Mustafar lava rivers, the tree library where Luke Skywalker burned books older than Earth's tectonic plates. Every spectator is plugged into the vision by silver threads of light. Their pupils project the same reel. You realize he isn't showing off. He's broadcasting a mayday disguised as miracles. Somewhere in that cinematic sky, a red saber ignites. The vision glitches, screams ripple. The crowd watches a hooded figure, tall, pale, double-bladed crimson, carve through temple guards like a hurricane through wheat. Nameless dread trickles down your spine. The Sith followed him here. Before you can process, the starfield implodes, sucking itself back into the single blue flower now browning at the edges. Yoda drops to the red steps, panting. Tourists stumble, sob, clutch phones that melted from cosmic overexposure. Sirens converge, but the NYPD perimeter is useless. Every officer's belt has been tied into a collective bow knot by invisible preschool fingers. You push through, kneel, offer water. Yoda's ears twitch. Seen my past, they have. Fear it, they should. His voice is a cracked bell. Followed I was. Hunted. I am. Hide me. You must. The sentence is a plea wrapped in an order, and your mammal brain can't decide which overrides the other. Then his gaze snaps above your head, up, toward the sky, where marketing blimps usually sell cola. You turn. The triangular starfighter pierces cloud cover, descending vertical like a guillotine blade. Its wings glow Sith red. Landing lights stencil a Sith sigil onto Broadway brick. The tourist mecca just became a duel mat. Web fluid splats beside your ear. Spidey again, upside down, voice warbling through cheap speakers. Hey, little dude, mind if we reschedule the philosophy seminar? Giant evil Toblerone incoming. He offers Yoda a ride. The Jedi shakes his head, plants. The starfighter lands, hatch hisses, and outsteps not one Sith, but 7, each robe trimmed with StarkTech arc reactors glowing like stolen hearts. Their leader lifts a crimson blade, speaks with Tony's own voice hacked through vocoder filth. We come in peace. Surrender the green relic. Cliff edge. Avengers outnumbered, lightsabers versus nanite armor, and you still holding the cup of water Yoda never drank. The leader's blade is the color of emergency, but the hum is StarkTech. An arc reactor core spinning plasma through a Kyber cradle. Tony's stolen voice crackles again. Patent infringement, Jedi. I'm here to collect. He lifts his free hand. The repulsors in his palm flicker Sith red. A marriage of Sicarian alchemy and Californian ego. Behind him, 6 more sabers ignite, each blade unique. One bifurcated like Wolverine's claws, one coiling like a plasma whip, one serrated and screaming, literally screaming, because someone grafted a banshee vocal cord down the fuller. The Avengers mirror them, shields raised, repulsors charging, Panther's claws vibrating at universe-ending frequency. You crouch behind the mustard geyser, realizing you're the only unpaid extra in a crossover episode nobody green-lit. Yoda steps forward, cane tapping once. The sound is soft, but every saber wavers, as if embarrassed by their own noise. Weapons they are. Choices we make, he says, eyes sweeping the Sith like a disappointed grandfather who's seen galaxies plagiarize each other's atrocities. Carol doesn't wait for diplomacy. She rockets, binary fists first, aiming for the speaker's mask. The Sith meets her mid-air, blade horizontal, energy meets energy. The collision births a miniature sun that tattoos the square with black light constellations. Shock waves flatten hot dog carts, including yours, mustard volcanoes into your mouth, and you taste turmeric and Armageddon. When vision clears, both fighters are grounded. Carol's left gauntlet molten, the Sith's helmet cracked enough to reveal a human smile sharpened by too many corporate takeovers. "Cute," the man sneers, "but I've downloaded the power cosmic patch." He flicks his wrist, the whip saber unfurls, lassoing Carol's ankle and slamming her through the store, 30 floors of candy exploding into Technicolor hail. Tourists scream, but some still film in vertical mode. Evolution skipped a few branches. Spider-Man flips in, webbing the whip saber's hilt, yanking it from its owner. "Yoink! That's for the Bleecker Street car alarm you just totaled." The Sith retaliates with force lightning, only it's tinged blue-white, arc reactor flavored. Peter's spidey sense pings so hard he backflips 3 blocks, lightning licking his heels, turning fire escapes into slag chandeliers. Yoda intervenes, cane spinning. The lightning bends, sucked into the wooden stick as if it's a straw in a thunderstorm. He then flicks the cane sideways. The energy erupts outward in a perfect circle, harmless rainbow that rains gentle sparks. Every cell phone within range reboots, now displaying the same lock screen, a green emoji lightsaber, and the caption, "Choose." The crowd, still filming, hesitates between fight or flight and brand loyalty. On the ground, Panther engages the serrated Scream saber. Each parry emits sonic knives that shatter windows in Morse code. T'Challa reads the pattern. It's a kill list, his sister's name included. Anger tightens his vision into Wakandan infrared. He lunges, claws meeting serrated plasma, vibranium versus Banshee steel. The clash sings a note so shrill it curdles the clouds. Rain falls in clumps like wet cotton. T'Challa spin kicks, severing the Sith's wrist. The hand falls, still gripping the saber, still screaming. Panther crushes the hilt underfoot, silencing it forever. The Sith staggers, laughs, and reveals a mouth of arc reactor teeth. "I have backups," he gurgles, triggering a wrist gauntlet. Every downed saber, broken, webbed, dropped, activates remotely, hovering like angry fireflies. The battlefield becomes a laser grid. Civilians become potential diced meat. Iron Man's nanites swarm, forming silver domes over bystanders, but the domes sizzle under saber contact. Tony's HUD scrolls crimson. Plasma temp exceeds sun core. He reroutes repulsors into cryo mode, flash freezing 2 sabers mid-spin. They shatter like crimson glass, shards evaporating before touching ground. "Note to self," he mutters, "patent a better crystal." Banner, still human, ducks under a bifurcated saber aiming to decapitate. Anger flickers, green pupils dilate, but he clenches, whispering, "No, not yet, big guy. Let's science this." He pulls out a device the size of a pager, gamma wave inverter, Stark Rand prototype, points it at a cluster of rogue sabers. The Invader hums, swaps their energy signature from Sith red to Hulk green. Sabers drop, inert, confused by their new emotional palette. Banner grins. Turns out hatred and anger are on adjacent frequencies. Who knew therapy could be electromagnetic? Yoda advances toward the lead Sith, each step dropping the temperature 10 degrees. Steam rises from street grates, coalescing into ghostly clone troopers that salute and vanish, memories so potent they manifest. "Teach you I will," Yoda whispers. "What power is." The Sith lunges, blade overhead. Yoda doesn't block. He opens his palm and the saber folds, hilt bending 180 degrees until the plasma tip stabs its owner's shoulder. Arc reactor blood sprays, hissing neon on wet pavement. The Sith collapses, mask clattering, face revealed, a 30-something Stark Industries engineer, one of Tony's own RD rejects. But the wounded Sith grins, triggers a final protocol. Every arc reactor sewn into the 6 fallen sabers links, forming a crimson mandala beneath the Avengers' feet. It's a teleport beacon. Destination, Sith fleet in lunar orbit. Energy spirals, sucking heroes inward. Yoda reacts first, slamming his cane into the sigil. Wood meets tech, meets force. The mandala cracks like stained glass. Half the Sith vanish, Teleport incomplete, leaving behind arms, legs, a torso still twitching in arc reactor afterglow. The remaining 3 Sith, including the leader, are yanked skyward by malfunctioning beacons, bodies stretching into red comets that punch through cloud and disappear toward the moon. Silence falls, broken only by the soft patter of candy-coated rain. Carol crawls from the crater, hair streaked chocolate, eyes flaring. Next meeting, she pants, we discuss offensive lunar diplomacy. You emerge from behind the slagged cart, shoes squelching mustard. Yoda approaches, places a hand on your chest, right over your racing heart. Witness, you did. Carry it, you must. The flower he cried earlier materializes again, now petrified into a tiny blue kyber crystal. He presses it into your palm. It's warm, alive, humming the way galaxies probably do when no one is listening. Decide, he says, what universe becomes. Behind him, the Avengers regroup, battered, armor smoking, egos bruised. Stark stares at the lunar skyline, already calculating rocket fuel and apology letters. Banner bandages, Panther's sonic lacerated ear. Spider-Man uploads footage titled Sith vs. Rich Nerds Gone Wrong and debates monetization. Above, the moon flickers red, as if blinking. You close your fist around the crystal, feeling possibilities root into marrow. Somewhere in the dark, between here and there, 7 half-teleported Sith reassemble, limbs reattaching, blades reigniting, inside a warship Poe. Word by stolen Stark reactors and unfiltered hatred. They are coming back, and next time, they won't bring sabers, they'll bring doctrine. You stand barefoot on the roof of Avengers Mountain, the celestial skull's crown slicing low orbital wind into whale song frequencies. The kyber crystal in your fist pulses Morse against bone. Run, hide, tell. Below, Manhattan's grid glimmers like a motherboard mid-seizure. Every streetlight strobes the same Sith sigil that bled onto Broadway minutes ago. Tony's lunar telescope, borrowed from Wakandan vibranium lenses, materializes beside you, unfurling like chrome origami. He doesn't ask permission, just clamps your shoulder. Look, he says, voice scrubbed clean of snark. Through the scope, the moon is no longer patent piracy at light speed. Tony's grip tightens until your clavicle creaks. I built toys for gods, he whispers. They turned them into scripture. Banner joins, blanket draped, steaming like fresh tea. Gamma residue flickers green behind his irises, Hulk peeking through blinds. They're broadcasting, he says, holding up a repurposed police scanner. The speaker spits static, then resolves into layered voices. Tony's own keynotes auto-tuned into Sith chant, and with infinite power comes infinite market share. The phrase loops, backwards Latin, forwards IPO, capitalism inverted into crusade. Banner's knuckles whiten. They're not invading, they're franchising. The word hits like frostbite. You realize the Sith aren't here to destroy Earth, they're here to acquire it, strip mine its hero myths, IPO the Force. Somewhere in that fleet, board meetings are scheduled, quarterly sacrifices projected, lightsabers bundled into tranches. Your hometown about to become a hostile takeover, one crimson quarterly at a time. Carol rockets up, landing hard enough to crack moon dust from her boots. She tosses a carbonized data core onto the table. It clinks like burnt popcorn. Black box from the fighter I dragged into orbit, she says. Decryption's ugly. Friday projects the contents, a hollow map of Earth overlaid with Sith hyperlanes, each route terminating at a hero HQ. Avengers Mansion, Wakanda, Xavier's School, Sanctum Sanctorum, all rebranded as acquisition targets. Beside each logo, projected revenue in souls. Panther arrives next, shadow walking out of the dark, Kimoyo beads projecting a live feed. Wakandan satellites hijacked, vibranium mines labeled strategic reserves. His voice is velvet over steel. They aim to weaponize faith itself, turn every prayer to the Avengers into quarterly dividends. T'Challa's eyes find yours, and they started with you. The she Crystal in your hand spikes hot, branding your palm print into its lattice. Ownership, Sith style. Below, the city's lights gutter out block by block, rolling blackout orchestrated to mask landing craft. You watch neighborhoods drown in dark, each window a swallowed scream. Spider-Man swings onto the parapet, mask torn, web shooters sparking. Street levels gone full purge, he pants. Sith drop pods are hitting bodegas, offering conversion packages. A free saber for every soul who signs over moral agency. People are lining up like it's Black Friday. He thrusts a crimson flyer into your hand, embossed Stark logo, Sith sigil watermarked beneath. Fine print reads, "Terms and conditions include eternal servitude and possible midichlorian lien." Peter's voice cracks adolescent. "They turned my neighborhood into a timeshare pyramid. Aunt May's building is 20 contracts away from becoming a Sith temple." He punches the stone parapet. Masonry crumbles like stale bread. "We need to shut down the mothership before Earth's IPO goes live." Vision phases through the floor, ghost white, mind stone flickering arrhythmic. "I interfaced with their network," he says, tone robotic but trembling. "They call it the Moonred Doctrine, an algorithm that weaponizes narrative. Every time a civilian retweets hero footage, the Sith gain influence points. We are literally being monetized." He projects a graph, exponential curve, Earth's free will plummeting towards zero at market close, sunrise. Vision's synthetic pupils dilate. At current conversion rate, Earth becomes a wholly owned Sith subsidiary in 6 hours. The rooftop falls silent except for the wind whistling through celestial sinus cavities. Somewhere inside your ribcage, the crystal vibrates louder, syncing with the fleet's countdown. You feel your own heartbeat listed as an asset on an intergalactic ledger. Stark claps, shattering reverie. "Okay, we don't do IPOs. We do hostile takeovers of hostile takeovers." He flicks fingers. Nanites swarm, building a lunar assault rig in real time. Rocket boots the size of city buses, repulsor cannons drinking vibranium from Panther's purse. Banner rolls shoulders. "If they want stocks, I'll give them volatility." His pupils flood green. Hulk is negotiating majority share of his frontal lobe. Carol crackles with binary lightning. "I'll punch through their firewall, literally." Panther tosses a Kimoyo bead to you. You carry the counter code. You blink. The bead projects a single line of glowing Wakandan script. Narrative is not a commodity. T'Challa grips your shoulder. Plant that truth in their algorithm. Watch greed eat itself. Above, the moon belches another wave of fighters. This time they trail banner toes. Initial public offering of Earth. Opening bell at dawn. The market opens in 5 hours. Your heartbeat is the opening stock. The plan crystallizes faster than nanites. Avengers will assault Lunar Fortress. A Disable the Doctrine broadcast, buy Earth a reboot. But they need a ghost. Someone small enough to slip through code, carry the moral worm. That's you. Intern to the universe. Peter offers his last web cartridge. Shoot this into their mainframe. It'll upload every meme of hope ever posted. Vision hands you a shard of his own phasing frequency. Temporary intangibility. One use only. Banner gives you a gamma-encrypted flash drive labeled Hulk's Letter to Shareholders, XE. Carol gifts a sliver of binary energy, enough to short-circuit one reactor core. Stark straps a nano parachute to your back. "If you die," he says, voice cracking on the verb, "die diversified." Panther's bead burns against your skin, branding the sentence, "Stories are not for sale." The celestial skull beneath your feet groans, ancient god bone recognizing newer, hungrier gods. Dawn is a shareholder meeting away. You tuck the Kyber crystal next. Manhattan shrinks, blackout spreading like spilled ink. You watch your planet become a stock photo in a galactic prospectus. Higher, higher. Stratosphere kisses your cheeks. Auroras braid your hair. The fleet looms, red triangles multiplying like cancer cells. Somewhere inside that armada, a boardroom of Sith accountants waits to count your pulse as profit. You clutch the web cartridge, the flash drive, the bead, 3 seeds of rebellion. Market opens in 4 hours. Your heart is still private equity. Let's keep it that way. The rocket platform punches through cloud sea and into starlight. Earth folds beneath you like a closing wallet. Breath thins, so does mercy. Ahead, the lunar fleet resolves from red triangles into cathedral-sized dreadnoughts, each hull tattooed with lightsaber scars, repurposed as sponsor logos. Their flagship, the Crimson Ledger, dwarfs Manhattan's skyline. Its bridge is a cathedral of stained glass ticker tape, streaming galactic trade data in blood ink. As you approach, tractor beams braid around the platform, gold lassos laced with subliminal ads. Invest your soul today, limited time offer. Avengers grit teeth, nanites frost, vibranium hums, binary sparks. You feel the Kyber crystals scream inside your fist, same pitch as a slave auction gavel. The platform is reeled in through a vault door shaped like an inverted share certificate. Doors slam, gravity flips sideways. Welcome to the exchange floor of suffering. Inside, the air tastes of copper filings and quarterly reports. Corridors are built like balance sheets, assets on the left, liabilities on the right, and you're walking the razor-thin equity line. Hollow banners flicker overhead. Earth futures, predicted yield, 13 billion souls. Every footstep echoes through public address speakers, converted into stock ticker symbols. Your heartbeat appears as a scrolling marquee. Live commodity. I bid now. Stark swears under breath. Friday calculates market cap of his own corpse, $2.4 trillion, minus arc reactor depreciation. Banner's eyes flick green. Hulk wants to short sell anger itself. Panther's Kimoyo beads spin, masking your team's biometric signatures with phantom shell companies. Carol crackles, ready to become hostile takeover personified. Vision phases invisible, carrying the worm code that will unplug this nightmare. And you, intern, carry the narrative nuke in your pocket. A door irises open onto the trading floor. A coliseum of data pits where Sith traders in pinstripe robes duel over hollow screens. Lightsabers double as laser pointers, each clash deciding commodity prices. You see a Twi'lek slave's lifespan auctioned to the decimal second, a Wookiee's roar compressed into a derivative bond. In the center, a circular dais, the bell of opening. A tower of fused kyber and vibranium tolling every time a planet's free will dips below IPO threshold. It tolls now. The sound is a funeral dirge played by cash registers. Every toll drags a sliver of your memories toward the ledger. Childhood birthdays. First kiss, the smell of Aunt May's wheat cakes, packaged into prospectus footnotes. You clutch the crystal, feeling it anchor you against corporate gravity. Guards surround, Sith auditors, masks shaped like tax forms, sabers glowing audit red. Their leader steps forward, Darth portfolio, cape stitched from shredded stock certificates, voice like shredders eating hope. Avengers Incorporated, he intones. Your hostile defense presentation is overdue. Tony raises gauntlet. I brought slides. He fires. Repulsor meets red saber. Both refract into spreadsheets that calculate real-time damage depreciation. Carol goes binary, punches through 2 guards, their bodies dissolving into liquidation events. Panther vaults, claws slicing ledgers, erasing asset lines and freeing listed slaves mid-transaction. Emancipation by subtraction. Banner hulks out partially, enough to rip a data pit free and toss it like a trash can into the bell. The tower chips, tolling falters. Spidey-web sabers together, yanks them into a knot of conflicting ownership, claims spark. Traders scramble, market dips. You slip through chaos, kimoyo bead hot against neck, heading for the central console, a kyber-veined server tower pulsing Earth's brand. Vision phases you intangible through gunfire of numbers. Inside the console, a galaxy of code, every line a chain. He points to a single node. Narrative core. Plant the worm here. He hands you the flash drive shaped like a green crayo, and Hulk's rage compressed into preschool metaphor. You stab it in. Code blossoms, gamma-encrypted vines eating numbers, vomiting stories. Slave listings revert to names, auction timers to birthdays, derivative bonds to lullabies. The market flickers, traders scream as their portfolios sprout bedtime stories instead of profit margins. Darth Portfolio senses disruption. Force pulls you across the floor. You skid, palms burning. He lifts saber for final audit. The kyber crystal leaps from your fist, drawn to his blade like a confessions to a judge. Collision, crystal versus corporate saber, should shatter hope. Instead, the crystal infects his blade with empathy. Red dims to sunrise orange. He hesitates, trembling, remembering childhood when numbers were just math, not chains. Panther's bead projects Wakandan proverb across the vision solidifies, stone blazing, rewriting code at light speed. Yet the bell retaliates, tolling faster, sucking back emancipated stories, rebranding them product. You feel childhood memories sliding toward ledger again. Last line of defense, Spidey's web cartridge. You load it into console, meme storm of every civilian thank you video, every kid dressed as Iron Man, every viral clip of heroes saving cats. The web uploads, explodes across ticker screens as emotional short circuit. Traders watch feels per second instead of profit. Circuits overload. The bell cracks down middle, bleeding light. Darth Portfolio, half-converted blade trembling, lunges one last time, not at you, at the bell itself. He strikes the tower, screaming, "Balance the books!" Tower shatters, kyber shards flying like glass stars. Shockwave ripples, every contract dissolves into confetti of burning parchment. Traders flee, robes catching fire with ledger ash. The floor tilts, hull integrity fails. Sirens switch from audit alerts to evacuation hymns. Avengers rally, rocket platform reassembling from nanite scraps. You grab the kyber shard that was once Yoda's tear, now warm with freed stories. As you sprint toward escape, Darth Portfolio collapses, mask splitting to reveal tear-streaked face of a man who just remembered his first allowance, first bike, first loss. Human again. He whispers, "Tell them, I voided the shares." You nod, pocketing his redemption alongside the crystal. Platform blasts out through vault doors just as Crimson Ledger lists, reactors imploding into red dwarf. Lunar dust clouds vision. Behind, the fleet fractures. Some ships auto-jump to hyperspace, others drift ownerless. Earth's ticker, visible on gauntlet HUD, flatlines at free. You did it. Carol whoops. Panther allows rare grin, even Hulk smirks. But Tony stares at the debris field, calculating unintended derivative. "Said we just triggered a market crash in the soul economy," he says. "Someone bigger will want revenge." Vision phases in, holding a single shard of Bell Kyber. This survived. It still tolls, somewhere. The shard vibrates, projecting faint logo. Thanos Holdings, LLC. The Titan invested. Cliff Edge reappears. One market closed, another opens. You clutch the crystal, feeling new stories rooting. They can IPO the galaxy, but narrative is open source, and you just became majority shareholder of your own heartbeat. The ride back is too quiet for victory. Earth swells ahead, blue, bruised, but breathing free, yet every time you blink, you still see. Thanos Holdings LLC burned into the dark like a water. Carol's knuckles glow faint white. She's been squeezing binary energy so hard it started to fossilize. No one speaks until Panther breaks the silence. "We bankrupted one exchange. The market simply moved." His words land like a second gravity. The platform dips 30 feet before Friday compensates. You look at your palm. Yoda's crystal fused with the freed stories, now pulsing the same rhythm as the shard. 2 heartbeats, yours, and something infinitely bigger checking your credit score. Re-entry flames lick the rails, but cold spreads inside the group. Banner keeps scanning the shard with stolen Sith spectrograms. Gamma curves spike whenever he mutters Titan. Finally, he says it out loud. Thanos bought our debt. Every soul we freed is now collateral in his ledger. The sentence feels like a guillotine door slamming. Vision phases halfway, body flickering between solid and stock ticker. I can hear the contract, he whispers, eyes neon with dread. It's written in the language of missing half. You realize he means the blip, Infinity Snap, still reverberating through the universe's accounting books. Thanos isn't seeking revenge, he's balancing the spreadsheet he never closed. Earth was unpaid interest, and you just foreclosed the wrong creditor. The platform touches down on the Celestial Skull rooftop. Dawn is an hour away, sky the color of a healing bruise. City lights reignite block by block, but each bulb flickers the same violet hue as the Power Stone for a nanosecond, Thanos branding every circuit. You step onto the roof and nearly buckle. Gravity feels heavier, as if the planet's mass increased to cover leverage. Yoda waits at the elevator, ears drooping. He doesn't ask if you succeeded, he reads the toll in your pupils. Balanced the books are not, he says. A bigger debtor collects. Behind him, the city's billboards sink for one eerie moment. You are now entering receivership. Then they revert to soda ads, but the after image lingers like sunspot ghosts. Avengers debrief inside the Skull's war room, but the table keeps rearranging itself into a balance sheet. Stark slams his fist. Nanites scatter and reassemble the phrase, goodwill impairment. Friday reports global anomalies. Banks show negative population counts. Churches list souls as outstanding receivables. Google auto-completes I am with collateral. The world woke up mortgaged. Panther opens Wakandan feeds. Vibranium mines tick down like countdown timers, each ore seam labeled, pending Titan foreclosure. Shuri's face holograms in, eyes wide. Brother, the heart-shaped herb fields just entered escrow. T'Challa's composure cracks. A king watches his kingdom become a line item. Banner's gamma scanner spits a single sentence. Snap 2.0 required to reconcile ledger. The room turns to stone around the words. You feel your molecules remember dust. Vision phases solid, places the tolling shard on the table. It projects a galactic map. Earth circled in violet, arrow pointing toward a moving dot. Sanctuary 2, Thanos' warship, re-entering local space from the quantum void where it's been hiding in unpaid absence. Arrival estimate, sunrise. Carol clenches fists. I'll intercept. And do what? Tony snaps. Punch math. He owns the equation now. Yoda hobbles forward, cane tapping like a judge's gavel. Own the story we must, not the numbers. He explains. Thanos quantified life. The only counter-currency is unquantifiable narrative, chaos of love, regret, boring Tuesdays, pet names, burnt toast. The Avengers need to upload humanity's unfiltered noise into Titan's ledger, crash his valuation with intangible assets. You realize the kyber crystal fused to your heart is the flash drive of every freed story, Earth's emotional surplus. Plant it in Thanos' core, and his books implode under qualitative weight. A suicide accounting mission wrapped in poetry. Preparation is frantic. Tony builds a one-shot rocket, the write-off, lined with lead and unread memos. Banner programs the crystal into a narrative warhead. When detonated, it will convert every soul number back into messy biography. Vision volunteers to phase deliver, but Yoda shakes head. Ghost, the Titan expects. Flesh and doubt he cannot quantify. All eyes turn to you, intern. Heart still private, now public offering. Arguments spark. Carol insists on escort. Panther demands Wakanda's best pilot. Yoda silences them. Choice the bearer must make, or story stays commodity. Your throat tastes of copper and stage fright. You agree before lungs can veto, sealing fate with a nod that echoes like a closing bell. Launchpad erupts on the rooftop. Rocket stands 3 stories, nose cone painted with every crayon color kids handed you after Times Square, messy hope solidified. You climb, suit borrowed, Panther's vibranium weave, Stark's repulsor linings, Spidey's stealth webbing underarms, helmet HUD displays single mission parameter. Be human, loudly. Countdown starts. Avengers salute. Some with nods, others with clenched jaws holding back. Don't die. Yoda presses forehead to yours, transfers a whisper. Numbers end, stories linger. Engines ignite. Roof trembles beneath celestial bone. As rocket lifts, you look down. City lights form a glowing ledger entry. Asset, liability, love, loss, blinking. Sky swallows you whole, toward a violet dawn where a titan waits with open books and empty gauntlet. Crystal against heartbeat's narrative morse. PL equals people love. Time to audit the auditor. Cliff edge, sunrise, space, and a math god who thinks hearts are zero-sum. Space is supposed to be silent, but the rocket rides a scream the whole way up, your own pulse hammering through the hull like a second engine. HUD says 3 minutes to intercept, your bloodstream says 3 centuries. Outside the viewport, Sanctuary 2 unfurls, a continent of violet armor and cathedral engines, its shadow eclipsing stars like overdue bills. The hull is stitched with new markings, ledgers tattooed in Titan blood, each equation ending in a tiny Earth. As you close, the ship's docking bay yawns open, teeth of depleted moon rock grinding in welcome. Auto-dock clamps seize the rocket with a lover's bite. Oxygen vents smell of copper and unpaid invoices. Helmet display flashes. Welcome collateral. You unstrap, crystal burning against sternum, narrative warhead ticking in your chest like a story impatient to be told. First step inside is onto carpet woven from promissory notes. Each footstep crunches souls into finer decimal. Corridors breathe, walls contract like throat muscles, pushing you forward. Overhead, fluorescent runes spell amortization schedules. Every flicker deducts a memory from someone you'll never meet. You pass alcoves where chained accountants, former ravagers, Skrull actuaries, Kree auditors, scribble figures into infinity tablets that refill themselves with disappearing ink. They don't look up. Their eyes are calcified into balance sheet retinas. A sign in 4 languages reads, "Abandon hope, all ye who enter line 47. You keep moving, guided by HUD arrow that keeps rewriting itself. Proceed, question prophet. Crystal pulses hotter, correcting the grammar with every beat. Proceed, story loss of control. Good. Guardians appear, not the heroes, the concept. Automated sentries assembled from repurposed infinity gauntlet molds. Each drone is a finger, thumb for power, index for space, middle for reality, wielding miniature stones carved from mortgage contracts. They level staves at you. HUD calculates survival odds, 0.00% recurring. You raise empty hands, then remember the payload isn't metal, it's messy. You speak, voice trembling. My name is... The sentence alone cracks a lens. Identity is off balance sheet. Drones hesitate. Narrative not found in their depreciation tables. You keep talking. Childhood street, first bike crash, flavor of burnt toast on Sunday, each word a non-performing asset. Drone cores overload trying to quantify qualitative. One explodes into quarterly confetti. You walk through the debris, leaving footprints of unaudited humanity. At the ship's heart lies the audit chamber, a sphere of zero gravity where ledgers orbit like Saturn's rings, each band a planet's debt. Center floats Thanos, no armor, just violet skin and a smile carved by actuarial tables. He wears a cloak stitched from Earth's unpaid utilities, every shut-off notice a thread. In his lap, an infinity gauntlet, stones missing, replaced by quill pens bleeding light. He writes, not fights. Every stroke signs a soul into servitude. Around him, holographic Earth spins, population counter ticking downward as contracts convert. He doesn't look up. You're late, he rumbles, voice like a judge's gavel wrapped in funeral velvet. Earth's valuation was scheduled for sunrise. Your interruption will be footnoted. You float toward him, crystal throbbing so hard it bruises ribs. Time to file an objection. You unleash the narrative warhead, not a missile, but a monologue. Words spill, the smell of subway rain, mom's off-key lullabies, the way dogs tilt heads at sirens, the useless perfect joke you never timed right, every unprofitable wonder. The chamber's zero gravity fills with sensory overflow. Ledgers buckle, numbers rust, fall like metallic snow. Thanos keeps writing, but ink smears into watercolor memories. He frowns, first emotional entry on his ledger in centuries. You push harder, recounting the moment you scraped your knee learning to ride and kept the scab in a jar because it proved you lived. The scab story alone corrupts 3 rings of Saturn accounts. They fracture into asteroid confetti. Thanos lifts eyes, pits of violet void suddenly reflecting a single unamortized heartbeat. You quantify love, you say, but love is the rounding error that breaks the table. You rip the crystal from your chest, flesh hisses, but it keeps beating, independent, a red-blue sun of unvalued moments. You hurl it at his gauntlet. Impact, no explosion, a birth. Crystal sprouts roots into the quill pens, ink turns into cherry blossoms of cancelled debt. The gauntlet cracks, each fissure leaking lullabies, first kisses, burnt toast. Thanos tries to rewrite, but pens now doodle instead of sign, stick figures holding hands, suns with smiley faces. His cloak of shut-off notices unravels, reweaving into childhood blankets. Earth's hologram stops ticking down, counter-glitches, then races upward as souls reclaimed overwhelm the algorithm. The ship itself groans, hull equations overwritten by bedtime stories. You feel oxygen thicken with mercy. But Titans don't fall gracefully, they audit their own obsolescence. Thanos roars, an accountant realizing the books will never close. He lunges, fingers seeking your throat to manually delete the anomaly. You have no weapon left, you offer your pulse instead. His hands wrap your neck but touch the unlisted heartbeat, off-balance sheet, and it burns him. Skin blisters violet to bruise human. For first time he ages, wrinkles filling with stories he never lived. You meet his eyes and narrate his own forgotten moment. Birth on Titan, mother's lullaby among methane lakes, the day he believed saving meant counting. The memory isn't yours, it's the crystal's gift, empathy as malware. Thanos collapses to his knees, cloaked now in innocence. Around you the chamber implodes softly, numbers becoming fireflies, drifting dark. Alarms switch from threat level to lullaby mode. Sanctuary 2 begins dissolution. Without ledger, structure loses meaning. You race corridors as walls revert to raw asteroid, ownership signatures evaporating. Guardians of the gauntlet finger fall apart, stones turning into skipping rocks. You reach the rocket. It too is decorporatizing, hull peeling like old paint. You strap in anyway. Launch fires on instinct. Bay doors no longer exist, so you punch through crumbling hull into open space. Behind, the Titan ship folds into a paper crane of unpaid debts, drifting toward sunrise. You glimpse Thanos inside the audit sphere, now transparent, floating amid firefly numbers, eyes wide, finally reading instead of writing. No applause, just vacuum. Freefall. Rocket engine coughs, dies. You're a meteor of meat and story. HUD dead, oxygen thinning, you wait for conclusion. Instead, a web line snaps from nowhere. Spider-Man on a Stark drone towing you home. He's crying under mask. You turn the end into a bedtime story. He laughs sobs. Behind him, binary streak. Carol guides the drone toward blue. You look back one last time. The paper crane ship catches solar wind, dissolving into glitter that spells write-off complete. Earth's atmosphere opens like a reader turning a page. You smile, throat bruised, heart public again, but this time, open source. Cliff edge, re-entry fire licks your feet, but the numbers stay gone. Next chapter, touchdown, and the long, messy epilogue called Tomorrow. You hit atmosphere like a comma slammed into a sentence, necessary, small, but refusing to let the story end. Heat shield tiles burn away, each one a former footnote now given a Viking funeral. Through the drone's bubble visor, Earth grows from marble to mural, continents unbranded, clouds unmonetized for the first time in hours. Spider-Man clings to the hull, web parachute billowing behind him like a kid who glued wings to his homework and believed it into flight. Carol rides point, binary aura shepherding the craft through ion flame, her silhouette a living period at the end of Thanos' sentence. Inside, you don't check vitals, you count memories that stayed yours. Mom's burnt toast, the mustard on your shoe, the scab in the jar, off-balance sheet, and alive. Communications crackle alive. Wakanda, Avenger Tower, every civilian network shouting the same impossible headline, Earth Free Will Index, restored. But headlines are just the first draft. The rewrite is already waiting on the ground. Touchdown is a celestial skull rooftop, sunrise bleeding gold into bone cavities. The instant the drone kisses stone, the rocket casing falls apart like a book closing, pages of metal drifting down. You step out barefoot, tiles still warm, but the heat feels human, not corporate. Avengers wait in silence, not sure whether to cheer or to check you for narrative shrapnel. You raise two fingers, imitating Yoda's Times Square calm, and they break. Applause, tears, Banner vomiting green relief, Stark laughing so hard his arc reactor flickers Morse for thank you. Only Yoda stays still, eyes closed, ears twitching to a frequency no longer tolling. He opens one eye, nods, and the nod says, student became story, story became free. You breathe, tasting sunrise and rocket fuel, realizing the bruises on your neck are the only IPO that ever mattered, initial personal occurrence. News feeds explode, every phone streams the same visual. Sanctuary 2's paper crane remains drifting past the rising sun, turning to glitter that spells assets equals zero. Stock markets open, then immediately glitch. Algorithms trained on soul debt encounter empty cells and freeze like dogs that lost the scent. Civilian videos flood in. Yoda touches your shoulder. Ended the numbers you have, begun the story you must. He explains, the only way to prevent cosmic autocorrect is to overwrite the operating system, replace scarcity math with abundance narrative. And the seed of that tale is still inside you, wrapped around your heartbeat. You have to upload it, not to a ship, to the sky itself. Turn the universe into an open-source myth. Delivery method, speak. Audience, cracked open cosmos. Stage, sunrise rooftop, cameras rolling, billion eyes watching. No pressure. Preparations are absurdly simple. Vision links every screen on Earth, phones, billboards, smart fridges, into one channel. Banner rigs your helmet mic to gamma amp your voice into gravitational waves, literally, story as gravity. Carol will broadcast light show visuals of your heartbeat across the torn sky. Spider-Man webs together a literal soapbox so you can stand taller than your fear. Even the celestial skull cooperates, mouthplate opening like a megaphone aimed at heaven. You step up, barefoot, bruised, Heart public. HUD shows global view count, 8,000 and climbing. Every human witness, plus animals caught in frame, plus the universe itself peering through violet cracks. You inhale, tasting burnt toast memory and rocket smoke. Then you begin the only story that ever mattered. Yours, told aloud so reality has to cite you as source. Words leave your mouth not as sound but as living color. The time you skinned your knee and kept the scab, the mustard on your shoe, the way your mum hummed off key, the useless perfect joke. Each syllable stitches across the sky, sealing cracks with auroral thread. The universe listens, constellations tilt like ears. Sanctuary 3 slows, confused by narrative it can't amortize. You keep talking, every day, unprofitable, gloriously human detail, until the sky becomes a quilt of ordinary miracles. Violet furls into sunrise. Tears fall upward, becoming new stars named after cats and bus drivers. Behind you, Avengers stand in silence, realizing the final battle isn't fought but spoken. Cliff edge. You run out of breath, but the story keeps climbing, a ladder of small moments reaching toward forever. Next chapter. The universe decides whether to publish or perish. Your lungs empty, yet the words keep climbing. Sound becomes scaffold, becomes spine for a new sky. Across the globe, phones buzz not with alerts but with heartbeats, yours, syncing 8 billion rhythms until the planet itself pulse dances in 4/4 time. Sanctuary 3 drifts closer, violet cannons charging, but every time they aim the targeting sensors drown in audio they can't amortize, lullabies, jokes, the smell of burnt toast at 7 a.m. The dreadnought's hull flickers, its own billboards glitch, replacing correction notice with your mom's off-key hum broadcast in surround. You stagger, knees soft, soapbox creaking under weight of worlds weaving. Spider-Man steadies you, whispering, "Keep going, the sky's almost closed." But your throat is raw capitalism, zero liquidity left. Yoda steps beside you, cane tapping the celestial jawbone like a metronome. Speak alone you need not. Chorus, the world becomes. He raises his hand, force ripples outward, plucking memories from every mind on earth. First kisses, lost buttons, grandma's coughs, the way rain sounds on different roofs. The memories rise as visible threads, color-coded by country, language, tax bracket, braiding into auroral yarn that stitches the last violet tear shut. Sanctuary 3 fires. The blast is pure math, a spreadsheet of destruction. But the narrative fabric catches it, converts laser debit into anecdote credit. The beam becomes a story about a kid who once aimed a flashlight at stars and believed they answered back. Explosion dissipates into firefly sentences that drift down on Tokyo, Lagos, Sao Paulo, people catching them on tongues, tasting strangers' childhoods. Global view count ticks past 8.5 billion. Even the blind see through others' eyes. The dreadnought's engines cough, trying to compute infinite intangible assets. Division by zero triggers failsafe. Ship stalls mid-space, like a calculator flashing. Error, equal, love. On rooftop, Banner's scanner spits final reading. Titan ledger, syntax error, heartbeat not found. Sanctuary 3 lists, violet plating rusting into sunset colors. Its bridge broadcasts one last plea. Resubmit in human terms. You find breath enough to answer, voice ragged but collective. Terms are hugs that last 3 Mississippis, the smell of library dust, the way your dog bows when you come home, non-transferable, non-fungible, infinitely reproducible. The ship's reply is silence, then a slow, deliberate clap. Across its hull, floodlights spell, article accepted, before the entire vessel folds into an origami swan, wings inked with every story just told. It drifts away, shrinking, becoming a page in the sky's new scrapbook. Cosmic cracks seal, stars realign into constellations named after bus drivers and substitute teachers. Earth's night reclaims imperfect. Beauty, stock price, irrelevant. Morning finally arrives, sunrise unbranded, light without watermark. The celestial skull rooftop turns into a garden overnight. Cracks in bone bloom with white flowers that hum your mom's lullaby in B frequencies. Avengers stand down, weapons clattering, some crying openly. Steve Rogers salutes you like you're a flag made of people. You step off the soapbox. It wilts into web silk that Spider-Man gently balls up, pocketing as proof that words can stick better than jokes. Vision hands you the last shard of former Kyber. Now it's just beach glass, warm and dull. Keep it, he says. Universe doesn't need it. You do. You close fist around it, feeling narrative settle back into private ownership. Heartbeat relisted under your own name. Global feeds cut from crisis to something new. A blank screen with cursor blinking, waiting for the next sentence humanity wants to write. Hashtags evolve instantaneously. Story overstock. Hashtag heartbeats, not assets. Banks try to reopen. Servers crash under the weight of customers typing. Once upon a time. Into password fields. Yoda leans on Kane, smiling the way wrinkles were invented. Published, the universe is. Editions, it will need. You understand, this victory isn't closure, it's serialization. Every sunrise is a rough draft, every choice a plot twist, every kindness a citation. Carol lifts off to patrol the new sky, not for threats but for typos, cosmic grammar police. Panther returns to Wakanda, where the heart-shaped herb regrows overnight, leaves whispering citizens' names instead of royalty. Banner turns the gamma scanner toward hospitals, converting residual math into miracle cures. Even Tony starts a new company, Stark Unlimited Stories, valuation, infinite, dividends paid in epilogues. And you? You're offered every title, Avenger, Guardian, Legend, but you pick editor. Someone has to keep the narrative honest, to remind the world that numbers are footnotes in the margins of people. As the sun clears skyline, you notice the celestial skull's empty eye sockets glow soft gold, gardens now, attracting butterflies that spell shifting letters. From a distance they read, "To be continued." You exhale, throat raw, soul public, heart finally private. Cliff edge gone, in its place a cliffhanger. What story will Earth write tomorrow now that the universe accepted its first draft? You pocket the beach glass shard, step into sunrise, cursor blinking ahead. Next chapter, epilogue, denouement, and the quiet revolution of everyday epilogues. The sunrise finishes downloading, raw, unwatermarked, open source. You stand barefoot on the rooftop garden that used to be a war room, white flowers humming your mother's lullaby in B Morse. The Avengers left hours ago, dispersing like punctuation that's done its job, present but no longer needed. Only Yoda remains, seated cross-legged inside the Celestial's golden eye socket, meditating so hard the sun itself pauses mid-climb. You join him, knees creaking like overdue library books. He doesn't open his eyes. Finished, the story is not. Beginning, it becomes. You wait for more, but that's the entire forecast, vague, accurate, irritating. So you breathe, tasting rocket fuel aftertaste turning into morning dew, and realize the epilogue is just life resuming without a profit motive. Below, the city wakes to a new calendar, year 0 of the annotated Earth. Phones still buzz, but push notifications now arrive as writing prompts. Describe the smell of your first storm. Traffic apps reroute drivers past strangers' childhood homes so red lights can feel like nostalgia. Wall Street's opening bell rings out. Not clang, but heartbeat. Traders entering to find ticker boards replaced with blank pages and baskets of crayons. The first trade of the day, a scribbled drawing of a dog wearing a cape, sold for one genuine smile. Market closes up infinity%. No one reports it. Reporters are busy live streaming their own births by interviewing their mothers on air. You watch from the skull's brow, half laughing, half terrified, that utopia looks suspiciously like a creative writing workshop. Mid-morning, the garden announces visitors. A shuttle rises, Wakandan design, vibranium wings humming, amazing grace in B-flat major. Shuri steps out, kimoyo beads projecting a global dashboard. Literacy up 400%, empathy index overheating, GDP, gross dream product climbing. She hands you a tablet titled Editor-in-Chief, Planet Earth. Responsibilities, approve daily sunrise color palette. Moderate arguments between nations by suggesting they swap childhoods. Fact check that every heartbeat sources to a real chest. Salary, one unquantifiable life. Benefits, infinite Shu-Chen. You almost refuse, imposter syndrome wearing cosmic headphones, but the tablet's lock screen is your mum's burnt toast, so you thumb, accept. Shuri bows, whispers, keep the story open source, then flies off to teach Saturn's rings proper punctuation. Afternoon brings the first editorial crisis. A crack zigzags across the sky, tiny, like a paper cut on the horizon. Through it leaks a single drop of violet ink, Thanos' last will, still trying to footnote reality. You climb the garden, press beach glass shard against the fissure. It seals, but not before the ink spells. Sequel. On your forearm, a tattoo of unresolved tension. You sigh, understanding forever requires maintenance. Vision phases in, offers software that turns intrusive thoughts into footnotes at the bottom of vision, small enough to ignore but honest enough to cite. You install it. The tattoo shrinks to superscript, still there, now a reminder that stories end only when no one edits them. Evening. You sit on the rooftop's edge, legs dangling above a city that no longer belongs to ledgers. Below, kids trade stickers of Avengers mid-sneeze because perfection is less interesting than texture. A delivery drone arrives, Stark brand but silent, solar-powered, carrying a single envelope. Inside, a crayon drawing of you stick figure huge, holding Earth like an open book, caption scrawled, "Thanks for the edit, the universe." No return address. You flip it. The back lists terms and conditions in 4-point font. May contain traces of infinity, return if broken or bored. You laugh until tears salt the garden, flowers shift tune, humming the sound of closing credits that refuse to close. Night falls, unbranded, unmonetized, unafraid. You lie back on warm bone metal, watching new constellations rearrange. They spell shifting sentences, once and again and still. Yoda stands, prepares to leave. You ask where. Walking the margins, he says, teaching commas to galaxies. He offers his cane. You decline. Your own legs work fine, and stories need no crutch. He nods, leaps into the sky, disappearing between ellipses. The garden settles into cricket rhythm, city lights below blinking like cursor waiting for tomorrow's sentence. You breathe, heartbeat syncing with 8 billion others, all co-authoring the same ongoing draft. Last paragraph, always the hardest. You realize there is no final period, only a living ellipsis inviting the next hand. So you stand, pocket the beach glass, step toward the stairwell down. Behind you, the celestial skull smiles, gardens glowing softer, footnotes settling into soil. You don't look back. Editors face forward. Tomorrow will bring typos, cracks, sequels, maybe another titan with a sharper pen. But every sunrise now ships with a blank page and a crowdsourced pencil. You descend the stairs, humming Mom's off-key lullaby, ready to fact-check forever. Fade out on the sound of a cursor blinking.